Oh my God. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. Our long, dark, national nightmare is finally over. Hi, witnesses. It's Jehovah, or you can call me JV, whatever you might know me as. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care what you call me, because you know what? I'm high on life. It's over. It's over. Trump's reign of terror is coming to an end in 60 days, and there's nothing he can do about it. I am thrilled. I'm overjoyed. I want to just laugh and laugh and laugh and run through the streets laughing and hug children. And I don't know what's going on with me, but I feel great. Love this journey for me. It's been a very difficult year. Coronavirus, losing my job, losing pretty much everything. Don't know what to do. I mean, this just like, I don't really want to call it Joe Biden's victory. It wasn't like a landslide. I really just want to call it Donald Trump's defeat. Yes, Donald Trump's defeat. Oh God, it just like, I savor every moment that that's on my tongue. Donald Trump's defeat has been the highlight of my year, honestly. I revel in every second of it. I think it's great. I think it's just fantastic. I'm so, so happy that our country has turned from red to blue. I don't really know if this effect is going to look that good, so it might just be this one segment and then go back to red. I don't know. Let's hope that's not what happens to our country in 2024. But anyway, the point of this video is that I wanted to take you guys in to have a deeper look at the process behind my recent release, Trumpets. So some of you may know I just released a track 2 or 3 weeks ago called Trumpets, which was basically, not only was it a rebuke of the current administration and everything that's gone wrong in 2020, it was also just an expression of like deeply personal feelings that I've been holding in about like deep-seated anxieties, fears about the future, general just unrest, like mental unrest. I haven't had a lot of like mental clarity, and at various points over the last 4 years since Trump was elected, it's just felt like kind of too much. I just feel like our country's plunged into chaos, and like I needed an outlet for those emotions. And in general, that outlet for me is music. So I want to thank everyone who streamed the song or watched the music video. I've gotten some really good feedback, really great support from friends, and even people I'm not really that close to, were reaching out and like congratulating me and stuff. So that meant a lot to me. And also just like a community of artists I've been able to like create on the internet through Twitter and stuff, like several of them reached out to me. I got a couple cute playlist placements, a bit of press. Like it was all very good, and it was really what I needed, and that was really just the boost that I needed to like reaffirm why I'm doing all this. I also recently celebrated a birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say celebrated because I didn't do anything because it's 2020. I mean, who even has birthdays or weddings anymore? It's just crazy. But I had a birthday, so that's cool. And I want to say thank you to everyone who donated to my mom's like GoFundMe that I've set up, because she lost her housing recently after coming down with COVID. So I'll leave a link to that, whether it's up here or down there, whatever. There will be a link to that for you to check out. I know I'm taking like lots of deep breaths. It's just like I'm just trying to hold on to this sense of like renewal and calm that I feel. It's like a calm maybe before the storm a little bit because like we really don't know what's going to happen. And I do want to say that um, a Biden Harris ticket was not necessarily my first choice. I did openly criticize them in a sort of comedy skit that I just uploaded not too long ago called Explaining the Pandemic to My Past Self. Gay version, which is based on the original that has like a ton of views, but I touched on the evolving political situation a little bit. So, um, I have really high hopes for Biden Harris administration, but was my first choice. And for me, it's like I didn't necessarily want Biden and Harris to win. I just wanted Trump to lose. That's really the key. I just wanted Trump to lose so badly. I just wanted him to taste defeat. And I got what I wanted, so happy birthday to me. So currently, as I'm filming this, it's Transgender Awareness Week, and today, November 20th, is the Transgender Day of Remembrance, which memorializes victims of transphobic violence. Now, in the lead up to dropping my single, I promised a donation to the Black Trans Advocacy Coalition of 25% of the value of Spotify pre-saves and iTunes pre-orders for my single. So I'm proud to say that we got about 100 pre-saves and pre-orders combined, which for me is very significant. So thank you to everyone who pre-saved or pre-ordered the single on iTunes. I really, really appreciate it. So 25% of that was, of course, $25. I personally don't think that's enough. So I've decided to donate a full 100% of the amount. I'll be donating $100. So I would encourage all of you to also donate whatever you can this week to the Black Trans Advocacy Coalition or any other transgender advocacy group of your choice. So I'm going to do that right now on my phone while I'm filming so you can hold me accountable, and I will post a receipt on the screen. So let's get down to business. About Trumpets. Trumpets was originally recorded. No, not recorded. Trumpets was originally produced in 2017. So I've been sitting on this track for a long, 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 long time. Almost 4 years. I started writing it and producing it in like January or February of 2017. And there's actually videos up on my Instagram of snippets of the track. Because I really thought I did something. I also have texts to another producer friend of mine from 2017 asking him about like trumpet samples and like brass samples and stuff, and like the best way to go about collecting and using orchestral trumpet and brass samples and stuff. So yeah, this track has really been brewing for a long time. We made a music video in like the shortest timeline possible, which was crazy. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a bit. But the video has over 4,000 views now, which to me is crazy. And I think it's because of not only the absolutely stunning thumbnail that I chose, but also because apparently it got suggested. It was in the suggested video sidebar thing for like a Charlie XCX video. I can see it all in the analytics and stuff. So I don't know how that happened. but that's pretty cool. So, yeah, thank you to everyone who watched it. And I'd like to just tell you the story about the song, where it came from, and how it sort of developed over time. So, when I first started writing and producing it, I pretty much had the top line, like the melody and the lyrics down. Pretty much knew what I wanted to say. Okay, I'm recording this after the fact because I forgot to mention it during the initial recording, but I wanted to clarify the song's opening lines. We might all get blown up. Feel like I'm gonna throw up. You can see the cat going crazy back here. um, might seem a little dramatic, but you have to remember that the track was written in 2017. And at the beginning of Donald Trump's presidency, he was aggressively provoking dictators like Kim Jong un, calling him Little Rocket Man, and like all this crazy stuff. And I think Kim Jong un even kind of I think he even pulled out like a missile or something. He went on like a military parade or like something like that, kind of in just to show off in retaliation. I mean, the whole country was on edge. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know what was going on. Yes, we were so on edge. What are we, little baby? We were so stressed out. Um, so in retrospect, when you really consider, I mean, I know it's hard to remember everything he's done while he was in office. That was terrible, but you really just need to ruminate on all the terrible things that he's done and remember, like, that's literally how we felt. So we might all get blown up, might not necessarily have been the case on November 4th, 2020, when the video was released, but still that high level of anxiety was a feature of Donald Trump's entire time in office. And we can't, it's really hard to just pave over that. The track really is a reflection and retrospection of just everything that's happened since he was elected. So I pretty much had like the intro, the first verse, the chorus, and the drop. Like the first solid third of the song was produced already, like early in 2017. What happened shortly after is that the laptop I'd been producing on just kind of cratered one day. It blue screened, the hard drive failed, all this crazy stuff. And I did have an external hard drive that I was saving backups to, but I hadn't yet learned the best way to package Ableton files so that they could be open on other systems. It's like no one's teaching me any of this production stuff. I was just sort of learning on my own. And it's like through trial and error, I had made so many mistakes over the years about just like, I don't know, simple things like saving files and importing files and stuff. And this was one of those times where, like, when I finally got my new system, I switched to a desktop Mac. I think in like summer 2017, probably, I switched to a desktop Mac and the files just did not import right. Like, I wanted to continue working on that song and the samples were broken, things weren't linked right, the project file was broken, essentially. And it seemed irreparable. Like I didn't know how to fix it. By that time, I was already kind of married to like how I wanted it to sound. Like I really liked the sounds that I had gotten before. So I was really just like, well, I'll get back to it at some point. Like I just sort of put it on the back burner. I was like, I'll fix it eventually, or I'll like, re-download all the samples, or like I'll fix it, Well, years went by. Like literally years went by, and that song just sat around collecting dust for no reason. And Trump's antics just kept getting like worse and worse and worse. And so I was like, I have to release this song like at some point during his tenure as president, but I didn't really have a game plan for how to do that or what that looked like. And on top of that, I still didn't really have a setup for recording vocals. Like I was going to people's houses or like booking studios or like I had a lot of trial and error just with that process too. So about a year ago, I moved into a new apartment in like November 2019, and I've got this large, giant space that I'm very happy with. So I've sort of turned my space into like um, half a sort of video and photography studio and half a recording studio kind of setup. So I've got like my vocal booth in one of the closets. And even though it's not perfect, I definitely like am trying to just streamline my process a little bit more so that I can push more content out onto the social medias. And just like get more music done because whatever I was doing before just like wasn't working. I was sharing a recording studio with someone that didn't really work out. I was like booking audio engineers at immense cost to me. Like I really couldn't afford to maintain like what I was doing. I couldn't. There was no way. So, and just in the lead up to like trying to finish this song were so many logistical issues and technical issues involving like the project file, my computer, my space, my setup, my workflow, like all of that had to get solved before I could even do anything. So that in itself was a crazy process that took like 2 years just to resolve. It wasn't necessarily like I had that one track in mind this whole time, because I obviously have other songs that I want to get out there. But what I'm saying is, this track just had to sort of sit on the back burner until I could figure out what my ideal setup and my ideal process looked like. So I finally get everything kind of set up in my life, right? And then who shows up but that bitch, 2020, the year of our Lord 2020. 2020 fucked all my shit up. Just everything. Just took everything in my life and did that, you know? I mean, just like everyone else, like I'm not a unique situation in this. I'm just caught up in it with all of you. So, um, whatever. Around like the first quarter of 2020, like when the pandemic was kind of, I want to say at its peak, but it's actually at its peak now in the United States. So, when it was at its first peak, breathe, just breathe. I experienced something very strange. It was like losing your taste or smell. It felt kind of like that. But instead of being sensory in that way, I lost any connection to music at all. Like, I couldn't relate to music that I was hearing. I couldn't listen to songs that I liked. I couldn't, like, I lost the ability to digest music, which was very weird. And it was all very, like, emotional in nature. Like my like extremely high levels of stress wouldn't allow me to process music, which was very crazy because music has always been kind of my way to like connect with myself and unwind and process like feelings and stuff. So not really having that lifeline anymore was very strange. But it wasn't really an isolated incident. I mean, I think that had happened to me before, I think, but this was significant in that it was prolonged. Like this lasted for months, months and months and months. And it was very strange because I had always wanted to be able to work remotely. Like I do graphic design, that's my bread and butter. And I really don't see the need to go into an office and do that. I really don't. So I always knew I wanted to work remotely and do all that stuff. So I finally had the opportunity to do that because we were all sent home and like, asked to work from home. And it was just like all of a sudden I was able to live that reality, but I just couldn't find the spirit, whatever you want to call it. I didn't have the heart to touch music. I couldn't. Like, I'd always wanted that ideal, like, remote work life where I could juggle my full time job and working on music. And I feel like I finally got that. And then I just had no drive to do music. But I eventually turned a corner. It really was like October, like because I knew the election was coming up. I felt the clock kind of ticking, you know, and I knew that this track was really special to me. I knew that there was something really special and powerful about it. So I was just like, I need I need to finish this song. I need to finish this song. It was just like this voice in my head that wouldn't leave, you know, and I even though like I didn't necessarily have the my mind wasn't necessarily in the right place to make music. I just knew that I had to do it because if I didn't do it by the time the election was over, I would probably regret it. Um, I was going through a lot of personal stuff at the time, like with my mom and with just like people I was talking to. And I was having a really, really terrible, like, 2 weeks at the end of September. But somehow, despite all of that or through all of that, I was able to just kind of like get myself together and get to work on finishing this track. So I must have started October 1st. I like knew I only had like 4 weeks to get this song done, which was crazy because it was literally in scraps. And let me tell you guys, last month was absolutely insane for me. Like, I don't know how I got any of that stuff done. No clue. I have no idea. I mean, I had a few people in my corner helping me with some stuff, but overall, it was very like I just had to stay motivated, and there were many sleepless nights. It was just insane trying to get this track finished, get a video done, get it promoted, upload it to all the stores, get it, get it mixed and mastered, all that stuff in the span of 4 weeks. Because I started on October 1st and the election was on November 3rd. And I knew I wanted the track to drop like before the election. So I was like, I have like I have like less than 30 days to do this. And all of October basically was a freaking whirlwind from which I'm still recovering. Like, it was just absolutely nuts. So much stuff happened in October that I had to make a little calendar about everything that happened in October, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's completely nuts. Like, I couldn't remember what had happened from day to day because I was just going, like, running on empty basically, like, for 30 full days, just trying to get this done, and then I had to sort of go back through, like, text messages and screenshots and photos and emails to try and, like, figure out exactly what happened when on each day in October, and this is pretty much what I've sorted out. So a little bit before the 1st of October, I decided to fix the broken project file, which in and of itself was crazy. The easiest way I can explain it, if you're not a music production person, is that the sounds that I was using and did end up using for the trumpets are from a plug-in sound bank of orchestral samples. And when you play the samples, they don't sound like what you hear on my track. I had to manually tune all of them for the pattern that I wanted. And that was all work that I had done in 2017. So when I opened the project file, one of the things about it, one of the many things about it that was broken was that stupid me had neglected to hit, there's a very little tiny save button in the plugin window where you can save the settings for your samples so that it opens like on other systems when you open the plugin. So when I first made the track in 2017, I didn't save the settings, which creates like a sort of third file format that you can open within the plugin, and it'll like open up everything. It'll open everything that you've done. I didn't do that because in my experience, plugins just, I don't know, that just has been my experience with plugins. Like, normally they just open the way you the way you had it. So I didn't know you had to do that. So y'all, I had to go in and manually like reprogram all of the samples that I used in this track again on like a track that I had made 3 years prior. So I didn't even really remember how I made it. And what I had to do was this.
I have my Mac, I have my laptop. They're both running. How am I supposed to produce like this?
I basically had, thankfully, I had a wave bounce of the original production from 2017 that I'd been sort of marinating on for a couple of years. Thankfully, I had a wave file. So I had the wave file open on my Mac, and I was using the laptop that I originally produced the track on, which was now working. And I just recreated the entire song by basing it off the waveform that was playing off my Mac. Just absolutely insane. I fixed the broken project file, but now I had to finish the track. That's right, finish the track.